Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here today to do my May TBR. In the month of May, there are two readathons going on that I really want to participate in. I love participating in them every year. One of them is the Asian Readathon hosted by with Cindy. Because May is Asian Pacific Heritage Month, Cindy always hosts this readathon every year in May, and I always try to participate. So a lot of the books on my TBR are from Asian authors. Cindy also has a couple of reading prompts that you can go along with, so I will definitely be tackling those reading prompts within these books. And the second readathon I want to participate is the May the Force Read With You, hosted by Eric over at Break Even Books. And this is a Star Wars themed readathon, and if you know me at all, you know that I love Star Wars, so I will also be trying to fit these books into those prompts as well. The link to both of their channels will be down below, and I will also put the link for the videos of the announcements so that if you miss both of them, you can still participate and look at the prompts. So first we're going to start off with the books that fit for Cindy's readathon. So the first prompt is very simple, the bare minimum, read a book by an Asian author. For that I have selected Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Karaguchi. And this is a translated work that a lot of people have read. It's extremely hyped and I've seen nothing but positive reviews for this book, so I'm really excited. This follows a group of people within a small cafe in a back alley in Tokyo. And this is a cafe that has been serving coffee for over 100 years. But the catch of this cafe is that it offers the drinkers one chance to go back in time, but there are two catches. One is that they cannot leave the seat of the cafe that they are currently in, and they must come back to their regular time period before the coffee gets cold. I'm very excited to read this one. I'm also reading it for the Buzz Wordathon. This is a readathon hosted yearly with a bunch of reading prompts for every month by Books and Lala, and the word theme for this month is flavors, and coffee is a flavor, so therefore I will be reading this book. It's ticking off quite a few boxes for me. The next prompt for the Asian Readathon is to read a book featuring a friendship between at least two Asian characters. I will be picking Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Khorram for this one. This book follows a young boy named Darius who is not as connected with his Iranian culture as he would like to be. He speaks Klingon better than he does Farsi, and he knows more about Hobbit social cues than Persian ones. Darius has never really fit in at home, and when he has a chance to visit Iran, he is sure that he will feel the same there. His clinical depression doesn't really help matters, and he is scared that his family in Iran won't understand him. Then Darius meets a boy named Sorab who is his next door neighbor, and his life changes for the better. I have heard nothing but great things about this book. My friend Hanani really likes this book, and she was so excited when I said I was going to be reading it this month. So because Darius and Sorab become friends, this definitely checks the prompt for a friendship between two characters. The next prompt is to read a book written by an Asian author and or featuring an Asian character that is focused on identity and self-discovery. For this I chose to go with a non-fiction route, and I will be reading Be Not Afraid of Love, Lessons on Fear, Intimacy, and Connection by Mimi Zhu. And this is a collection of powerful interconnected essays and affirmations that follow Mimi Zhu's journey towards embodying and relearning love after a violent romantic relationship. A stunning and provocative book that will guide and inspire readers to lean into love with softness. So this is definitely a book on self-discovery. I'm hopefully going to have some reflections while reading this book. I've heard nothing but excellent things about this collection, so I'm very excited to pick this one up as well. The next prompt is to read a book written by an Asian author and or featuring an Asian character that shows them going on an adventure. And for this is where I'm going to come in with my finish a series with me this month. So if you saw, I believe it was my January TBR, I made a goal this year to finish series. So I have plenty of series that I've started and plenty of series that I have not finished. One of those series is the Ember in the Ashes Quartet by Saba Tahir. So for that vlog, you can expect me to read Reaper at the Gates and A Sky in the Storm. But the Ember in the Ashes series follows two characters, Laya and Elias. Laya is a servant in this tyrannical type of regime, and Elias is a boy serving in the army. Soon their lives kind of crash and a story unfolds from there as they try to take down the emperor together. I have the last two books in this series to finish, so you could definitely expect a vlog from that. And then the last prompt for the Asian Readathon is to read a book featuring an Asian character who is either a hot mess, famous, or eccentric. I can't pronounce that word. And then for that, I decided to read Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. And I am obsessed with Olivia Blake. I have so far only read 2 of her books, but I have a lot of books that she's written on pre-order. And one of them that came in was Alone with You in the Ether last year that I just didn't get a chance to read, but I absolutely need to read. So this book takes place in Chicago sometime. 2 people meet in the Art Institute by chance. Prior to their encounter, he is a doctoral student who manages his destructive thoughts with compulsive calculations about time travel, and she is a bipolar counterfeit artist undergoing court-ordered psychotherapy. By the end of the story, these things will still be true, but this is not a story about endings. This sounds like it follows 2 characters who are a mess and or eccentric, so I'm very excited to pick this up, and I've seen that people cry reading this book. I've seen that the writing is beautiful, which is as to be expected with Olivia Blake, so I'm very excited to pick this up. It sounds incredible. I definitely think this is going to be a 5-star, so I'm super excited to pick it up. So that's it for the reading prompts. However, I do still have a couple of books on my TBR that I want to get to. The first one is a novella that I would just like to get to finish out the series, and that is The Jade Setter of Janlun by Fonda Lee. This is the prequel novella to the Greenbone Saga, which, if you know, it's been in 2 of my best books of the year. I love the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee, and that follows an organized crime family that tries to control, or at least hold, the power over the country's jade supply, and I believe that this one goes into the beginning. The rapidly changing city of Janlun is ruled by jade, the rare and ancient substance that enhances the abilities and status of the trained Greenbone warriors who run the island's powerful clans. Pulo Oritono is not one of those warriors. He's simply an apprentice jade setter with dreams of securing clan patronage and establishing a successful business. His hopes are dashed, however, when the priceless jade weapon is stolen from the shop where he works. So I'm very excited to read this. It's quite short. I have it on audio, but in reality, I just want to read more from Fonda Lee. I'm craving her writing, so that's why I've added this book, and I'm very excited to read it. After that, we have 2 fantasy books that I've really wanted. Well, they're all fantasy books, but these are 2 books that I've been really wanting to get to. The first of which is Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker, and this is an Indian-inspired fantasy book that I've heard excellent things about. In a world where demigods and demons walk among the mortals, the emperor of the vast burnt empire has died, leaving a turbulent realm without an empire. 2 young princes, Adri and Jvate, are in line to rule, but the birthright does not guarantee inheritance, for any successor must sit upon the legendary burning throne and pass the test of fire. Imbued with dark sorceries, the throne is a crucible, one that incinerates the unworthy. I've heard nothing but excellent things about this story. Everybody who has read it has loved it, so I definitely think I will be one of those people. I just need to jump in. And then I have a book that I've placed on multiple Asian readathon TBRs, so it is years that I have been wanting to read this, but this is the final book in the Girls of Paper and Fire duology, Girls of Fate and Fury by Natasha Nagan. Basically, this series takes place in a world where there are caste systems, and at the bottom are the humans, and at the top are these like demon gods that kind of have the physicalities of animals. Lei is one of those bottom tier humans, and one day when people are coming to her village in order to pick out concubines for the king, Lei is selected due to her golden eyes. Once at the castle, she and a couple of other girls work together in order to kill the king and escape their roles as concubines. I have not picked up the last book despite absolutely loving the first book, because the second book was kind of a little bit of a slog. I am hoping, however, that the last book in the series really ties the entire series together and has a satisfying ending for me. Very excited to read this. I'm really hoping I could get to it this year. I always put it off, so this is one that I'm sort of prioritizing this month. And then another book I would like to get to is Sharks in the Time of Saviors by Kawai Strong Washburn. This seems to be a like literary fiction fantasy historical type of novel. I say historical, but it takes place in the 90s. I don't know if that counts as historical. I hope not. But in 1995 Hawaii, on a rare family vacation, 7-year-old Nainoa Flores falls overboard on a cruise ship into the Pacific Ocean. When a shiver of sharks, is that what a group of sharks is called? That's so cute. When a shiver of sharks appears in the water, everyone fears for the worst. But instead, Noah is gingerly delivered to his mother in the jaws of a shark, making his story the stuff of legends. Later, when Noah's family is struggling amidst the collapse of the sugarcane industry, his rescue hails as a sign of favor from ancient Hawaiian gods, a belief that appears validated after he exhibits puzzling new abilities. So this has won several awards. It's something that has captured my attention for quite a bit of time. So I've decided that this year I'm going to do my best to pick it up and read it, and I'm really hoping that I enjoy it as well. Also, Hanani also said this one was good, and when she says something's good, I'm there, I'm arrived, I'm sat. And then I have 2 commitment books that I need to get to this month. One of them is the final book in the King Chronicles, and that is The Serpent Shadow by Rick Riordan. If you have been following my channel, you will know that I have been reading through Rick Riordan's backlist over the last couple of months. This is the finale to the King Chronicles, which is the 3rd series that we're reading in the Rick Riordan verse. The King Chronicles follows 2 siblings, Carter and Sadie, as one day they go with their Egyptologist father to the British Museum in order to look at some artifacts. However, once they are there, their father unleashes a slew of Egyptian gods out into the world, and the Kane siblings must work together in order to control what is happening and save the world, obviously. I have been enjoying this series, but I think I am in kind of a Rick Riordan slump, so after the series is over, I will be taking a little break from Rick Riordan, so you can expect the last vlog in the series to come out this month, and also some reading sprints, as how Nani and I do every month. And the last book I need to read this month is for the Kiss and Tell book club. This is a romance book club that I host with my friends Zoe, Jenny, and Dorothy. This month we are reading Happy Place by Emily Henry. The Emily Henry train has come again for me. It's taking me back on. I read Beach Read. I thought it was average. But you know, the hype and everybody loving Emily Henry, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, so I will also be reading this book this month. So this book follows 2 characters, Harriet and Wynne, who have been the perfect couple since they met in college. They go together like salt and pepper, honey and tea, lobster and rolls, except now for reasons they're still not discussing, they don't. They broke up 6 months ago and still haven't told their best friends, which is how they found themselves sharing the largest bedroom at a Maine cottage that has been their friend group's yearly getaway for the last decade. So they broke up, they haven't told their friends, and they're going on vacation with their friends. Sounds like drama, sounds like it could hopefully be heartfelt, sounds like a second chance romance. So I'm interested to pick this up. I do think Emily Henry has great writing, so hopefully I can appreciate this book more than I did Beach Read. And now that I've talked about all of the books I am reading this month, let's get into how they fit into the May the Force Read With You readathon. So for this readathon, you pick a side, either the light side or the dark side. And depending on how many prompts you are able to fulfill, you could be a Jedi youngling to a Jedi master. Usually I go with the Sith side. I am an evil bitch, but because the prompts fit better for me on the Jedi side, I am switching over. I am going to be good this readathon. Obviously, I'm going to try to read all the prompts in order to be a Jedi master, because why go to the good side if I'm not going to be the best? You know? So first you have to pick your species. I was debating between picking a human because I would have no additional reading required, but where would the fun be in that? So I can either go one of 2 ways. I could be an Ewok because I would need to read a comic or manga, and despite having all of these books to read, I can throw in a manga, and that way I will be able to complete this prompt. We also have a Twi'lek, and that would be to read a romance book or a book that is part of a duology. In this case, I could add Happy Place to that. I could be one or the other, but because I will definitely be reading a romance book because I have to, we'll go with Twi'lek for now. And that's cool because they're bad bitches. So I'm down for that. Then we'll go straight into the abilities. So the first prompt is Severe Force, and that's to read a nonfiction. So obviously we will go with Be Not Afraid of Love, as it is the only nonfiction on my TBR. The next prompt is to read a book with a similar premise or a cover as the book you previously read in your life. So for that, works out perfectly with my Finish a Series, because obviously the covers look alike and the premise is similar in both instances. The next prompt is read a book with nature on the cover. And for that, I guess we could go with Alone with You in the Ether, because it has these like insect bug things. So that works. Read a book under 275 pages. We have both the Jade setter of Janlun and Before the Coffee Gets Cold that are both under 275 pages, so it works for that. And then Transfer Force, read a borrowed book, Library Friend, Kindle Unlimited. So a lot of these books I am taking out from the library for audio, but the one that I'm strictly getting from the library in both audio and in ebook form is Sharks in the Time of Saviors. So that works for that. Then we have the weapons. So we can either have a lightsaber, a blaster, or a spaceship. So a lightsaber, look at a color wheel. That's too much work. Blaster, read a book in a different spot every time you pick it up to read it. Spaceship, read a book that has a vehicle on the cover. I think I'm gonna go with a blaster and read a book in a different spot every time you pick it up to read it. That should be fine for me, and you guys are just gonna have to take my word for it that one of these books will be it. I could even read a manga in one sitting because I'm only picking it up once to read. Is that cheating? I don't know. Then we have our partners. So because I'm on the light side, we'll go with the allies. So Rebel Alliance is to read a book with multiple POV. So we can use the Kane Chronicles for that. That I know for sure. We can also use one of the Ember and the Ashes series since it follows multiple characters. So that works. And then Resistance, read a book that is mostly one color. So we could do Girls of Fate and Fury since it's mostly red, or we can do Upon a Burning Throne since it's mostly purple. And that's it. That is my huge TBR. Like I said, I will leave a link down below to both Cindy and Eric's channels if you would like to participate in either of the readathons. And if you've read any of these books, please let me know down below. Did you like them? Did you hate them? Let me know. And of course, because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It does wonders for my channel. It makes me feel really good. And that's it. I never know how to end these things, so I don't know what to do. I will see you next time. Okay, bye.